Hi, everybody.
Hello, I'm Ryan.
I'm Bethany.
And we are Ryan and Bethany Board Game Reviews.
And today we get to talk about Ship Shape, and this is published by Calliope Games. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you can see our videos as they come out.
In this game, we are marauding pirates who are taking on all these different goods. We're trying to fill our holds with as much gold as humanly possible. But there's rats in there. We're trying to cover up those rats.
Trying to smush the rats. Smush. You'll see what I mean by that in a moment. We are smushing the rats.
Trying to get some contraband, but not too much contraband. Trying to get some weapons as well. So at the end of that, whoever, play 3 rounds, whoever has the most points wins. Let me show you what it looks like on the table. All right, here's our setup for Ship Shape. Now what we have in front of us here is a stack of these kinds of tiles. Basically, I have these different cutouts that have different things on them, like gold, contraband, and cannons. So the point of these cutouts is, what you're trying to do is you are going to get one of these holds at the beginning of each round. There's voyage 1, 2, and 3. And you are going to draft 3 different tiles to put on top of your hold. What you're trying to do is you're trying to get the most amount of points. First of all, you want to probably try to cover up the rats that start on your board. Also, all different gold pieces, it's worth 1 point apiece. Then, all your cannons, what's going to happen with that is, whoever has the least amount of cannons is going to get 0 points. So let's say someone had 2 cannons. They're going to get 0 points, but then everybody else at the table is going to get however many cannons they got, minus however many cannons the person with the least got. So if someone else got 8, they would get 8 minus the 2 points, totaling 6 points. And then we have our contraband. Our contraband, you're going to score whatever it is that you got for your contraband, unless you were the person who had the most contraband. Then you attracted too much attention, and you're going to get 0 points for that category. Also, if you manage to fill up your entire board, have no blank spaces at all, or rats showing, what's going to happen is you're going to score an extra 8 points at the end of the round. Each voyage is going to get increasingly harder. In the first one, most of them only have 3 things covered up like that. But then we're going to have our voyage 2 has a various number of things. Maybe it has some cannons, maybe some good things possibly. There's cards like this that just have a whole bunch of rats on them. So that's kind of the Voyage 2. And then the Voyage 3 ones, those are much more complicated. So those ones have gold on them, which is great. Some of them just have a whole ton of rats like that. So each one of these voyages is going to get increasingly more difficult. You're randomly dealt out a voyage, so you don't really know what you're going to get. Sometimes you get lucky and you get a slightly easier one. Sometimes they're a little more rat-infested, let's say. So how do we actually get our tiles? So basically what's going to happen is we have a deck of 10 cards, numbered 1 through 10. You're going to need to select one of those and put it down face down. So we've got our card here. Everybody kind of waits till the count of 3. 1, 2, 3, flip. Everybody kind of reveals what they have. Whoever has the highest card takes the highest tile. The second highest card takes the second highest tile, etc., etc. Now these are all stacked up so you can kind of see them. However, you can't really see what's underneath them. You can kind of look around a little bit from where you're sitting. You are not allowed to get up and move across to the other side of the table to look to see what that person can see. But yeah, you get it kind of from where you're at, kind of get a feel for what you're looking at here. If any 2 players play the exact same number, let's say we had 2 people who played 6s, the people who did not match go first. So even if it was a lower number, let's say a 5 and a 4 and 2 6s, the 5 would go first, the 4 would go next. Then the 2 people who played 6s, what they would do is they would both play another card then. And after that, they would figure out who goes 3rd and 4th, based off, again, who had the higher card. Once you've played a card, it is discarded. You cannot pick it up again until you only have 1 card left in your hand. At that point, you get to pick up all your 10 cards again, and you can start over again. So if we were to have won this card, we would put it on our board wherever we wanted. We can rotate it however we want. We can flip it however we want. Let's say we do something like that. Cover up some of those mice, and we have some of our goods showing there. And then later on, we might get this. Let's say, well, that would have happened because these 2 would go to the next person, but maybe we do that. And then for our last move, we do that. Obviously, that's not how it would work, but this is basically, at the end of 3 rounds, what it would look like. You'd have your hold with 3 tiles on top of it. And then you'd score based off what you can see. So we'd get, our 8 points for our gold. We'd get 4 cannons minus whoever had the lowest, which might be us, who knows. And then we'd have 10 contraband, which is a lot. So we would probably have the most in that case, and we would probably get no points. But if we had the second most or whatever, then we would get whatever the value is. We do have some empty spaces. As you can see, there's 2 holes there. So we do not get the 8-point bonus. But that's really the game. After you finish the first voyage, you're randomly going to get another Voyage 2 card, do it again, get a Voyage 3 card, do it again. Every round, you're going to get points in these tokens. At the end of the third and final voyage, you're going to count up all the tokens you've accumulated over the course of the game, and whoever has the most points wins.
So let me start off by saying the components of this, though not many, are mighty. Those like foam pieces are pretty thick, and then they lay really nicely on the board. And especially when you're like peering in to see everything, how it stacks and how you can only see some of the stuff depending on where you are. It's just that one component that they had to work with, they did a great job with.
I love those tiles. I think that choosing which one you were trying to get is just a lot of fun, especially if you see one further down. Maybe you can't see the whole tile, but you can see like most of it. You're like, I'm pretty sure that's the one I want. So I love kind of trying to select that one and then trying to figure out what everybody else is trying to go for as well, so that way you can choose the right number to get that thing. But you have no idea if you're going to actually end up with it or not. So you have to be flexible as well, because you might get some completely random tile that doesn't do what you want. But I really enjoy that selection of those tiles.
Speaking again of doing well with the limited capacity that you have, there's only 10 cards that you're playing with, but I thought that they did a really good job with making the characters very diverse on those cards. They just took the little amount of what they had with those tiles, making them awesome, and with the card art and making them very diverse. So I just want to shout out when I think that somebody does good at that.
We were able to play this with our kids. We have a 3-year-old and a 7-year-old. Okay, so the 3-year-old had no idea what was going on for scoring, right? But she did get the rules.
Yeah.
The simple rules of, like, the higher number you play, the more, like, the sooner you'll...
She said that in one of our games. She showed it to me before she played it. But it was the 10, and she was like, I'm going to play this so I can get that top one.
Yeah, so she got it.
She
understood it. And she actually scored really, really well by... sheer happenstance. Is that a word? Happenstance?
I don't know. I mean, she was like putting...
Close
At first, I didn't think she actually understood what she was like putting on and why, but then she beat me.
Well, yeah, she was able to get one of those ones where you cover up the entire tile. I don't think she knew much about the scoring, other than she just knew, I'm going to cover up every bit of this tile. And it worked. It was fantastic. Now, this is not a kid's game, but I just wanted to point out that the rule set is so simple and accessible that kids could play it. This is a 2-page rule book front and back, so like 4 pages max, and you're ready to play. Yeah,
a 3-year-old's better than a dummy player anyway. So
yeah, in a 2-player, there's a dummy player that you have to play with, but it basically is a good way of kind of adding in that randomization, extra factors.
Yeah. So I think that Ship Shape is a great game when these things, happen a lot, to start a game night with or end a game night with, because there's a little bit of social deduction of what people are going to play, that little bit of interaction with the cannons and the contraband, but you're still doing your own thing. So there's that nice blend of interaction while still focusing on your own stuff, while also not being a super long game, that I think this really fits the bill for starting or ending a game night with. It is a great icebreaker, and it's a great way to just like end the night as well.
I thought those tiles were just really ingenuitive. I thought that the way that they laid on top of each other and covered things up, that was I had not seen in a game before. I thought that was really clever. I can see us playing this, quite a lot once we're having game nights again with bigger groups. He plays 2 to 6, and it probably plays better on that higher player count. Yeah. So I can see us playing this a lot when we have our game nights back rolling. It was just a lot of fun. Very simple, very accessible, and really easy to jump in on.
Well, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget, you can find us in all the places. On Facebook, we are Ryan and Bethany Board Game Reviews. On Instagram, we are Ryan and Bethany. And on Twitter, we are Ryan and Bethany 1.
Everybody, thanks so much for watching, and we will see you next time. Bye.